If you're in car insurance, don't watch! This is Full Metal Challenge.
Welcome to Full Metal Challenge.
The world's greatest circus for mutant motors and stuntman drivers.
We laid siege to this defunct power station on England's green and pleasant south coast and overhauled it to make a mutant motor fun fair. We dreamed up 9 events designed to strike fear into the hearts of even the toughest of men.
Because what Full Metal Challenge is all about is hunting down the fastest, meanest, toughest, most nimble warrior vehicle on the whole of God's sweet earth.
But if we had big plans, we were going to have to find teams with even bigger ones, because we needed people mad enough to subject their homemade creations to a good old hiding in our games.
We found 27 teams of crackpot designers and gave them 1 month and $3,000 to build the ultimate endurance vehicle. Our elite teams come from all over the world, from Germany to China, Russia to New Zealand. All 5 continents will be in attendance at the first ever World Series for cars.
In just 30 days, these teams had to build machines ready for anything, any insult, any punishment, any assault, and most importantly, to defeat the opposition in any test.
All for the glory of a place in the semi-finals. Let's meet them.
Representing the United States this week, a bunch of offbeat bouncers, the Death Guild from San Francisco.
We're Death Guild, and we're used to handling trouble.
This time we'll be causing it, and our machine Monkey will finish the job.
From the UK, a team of master engineers, the Mud Hatters from the West Midlands.
We're the Mud Hatters!
Because we're mad as hatters and we've got mud in our blood. Our vehicle, Megahertz, is going to do all the hard work for us.
And finally, a team of marauding off-roaders, the Ice Vikings from Iceland.
We are the Ice Vikings! And like true Vikings, we won't be taking prisoners, and our machine Thor is on the warpath to victory. Yeah!
Over the course of the day, these teams will be battling through a series of 3 very different games. After the 3rd game, the team running last will be subjected to the indignity of being transported to our chimney of doom. The winning 2 teams have got it even worse. They've got to sumo wrestle in cars. Only one will survive. Ice Vikings, are you ready?
Yeah!
Mud Hatters, are you ready?
Yeah!
Death Guild, are you ready?
Yeah!
Then let's get on with the games.
The game is called 10 Pin. There's 10 12-foot-high bowling pins, and you've got to knock them all down. Bam! And I'd like to join in with you, but I have to think about the one I love. Me. Now get out of here.
First up, we have Matthew from the American Death Guild.
Have we got a strategy?
Knock down the pins. I'm going to try to go in hard and get it in the slide and hopefully stop because I have no brakes.
We want to see this baby slide. Take it away. All eyes on you. Go Matthew.
Matthew's steed Monkey weighs in at just under 2.5 tons, and it's a simple no-frills machine. A 375 brake horsepower engine gives a top speed of 100 miles an hour, and hefty bumpers should take the knocks. The Mad Monkey may be basic, but it might just go ape.
Now these fellas are bouncers. They're tough guys, right? Well, we'll see how tough they are when they're slamming into 12-foot-high bowling pins clocking in at 150 pounds apiece. And we'll see how they get on with our slippery surface. Yeah, we've soaked it in soap and water, but not to keep it clean.
What's he doing, Sam?
Going for the far
He's
edge.
lining up, not in line. So obviously a very cunning strategy.
Evidently we have something super secret we don't know about.
If all else fails, give it some revs.
We like that.
Game on! He's lined up, if you can call it that, and he's off.
Go on, Matthew.
Skidding all the way up the alley. And smashing into those pins.
That's our man.
Well, I wouldn't want to gate crash this fella's party. Look at the way he hits him. It's a textbook broadside. And he's playing 10 pin the way it should be played. How did you guys elect to use the driver? Was it always him?
No, he's a nutcase, so we decided if somebody was going to go sliding around, it should be
So
him.
you guys are cool and on the level, and he's the only psycho.
No?
We're ready for the second run.
All right, second time. He's left himself an easy job here, with only 2 pins left to nuke, and both of them over on one side.
Check him out.
He's a bit squirrely, but he's got him.
Matthew! You can't improve on perfection. How did that feel?
Felt good. It
Yeah?
was fun.
How
really
was the
enjoyed
first
that.
run?
It was a lot better than I worried about and a lot worse than I had hoped for.
Okay, well, we're going to get on. We've seen Big and Brutish American. Now we've got rather polite British team. The Mud Hatters up next.
All right, so the first team, the Americans, they knocked down all 10 pins, so you got to do that just to stay in this. You think you can do it?
Of course, sir.
Of course you can. Start your engines and knock them all down.
Weighing just over 2 tons, Megahertz is packed with gadgets. Cameras and onboard monitors relay information to the driver, laser beams clock distances, and a megaphone irritates the competition into submission. 2 additional wheels could give extra traction, and with its hefty front bumper, Megahertz could be wired for a win.
But it remains to be seen whether all this cleverness is going to be the slightest use on an ogre's bowling alley. Well, I'm sure the yellow smoke's gonna come in handy.
I will crush you like a bug.
The voice that goes on and on and on, is that on a hard drive? Is it on a tape?
CD-ROM.
It's on a CD-ROM.
So it's just gonna be, we're gonna be with that all day.
Yeah.
So I have that to look forward to.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are going to kick your ass.
Oh, that's what the smoke's for, so he can't see. I get it. Willie didn't need 15 university degrees for that.
I will crush you like a bug.
The phrase all talk and no trousers comes to mind. He doesn't spin it, he doesn't hit the pin sideways, he doesn't even take it particularly fast. And it's a disappointing 3 down.
This time he's going to go absolutely flat out, I know, Mick.
Here we go.
Here we
go. Now watch him go.
Watch him. Come on, Mick.
All right, he's got to work it out. It's better on speed, worse on accuracy. Ooh! Oh, and a complete failure at being the right way up.
All this style is necessary. Why can't we all just get along?
Well, he's strapped in. He'll be okay.
Well, we don't see a lot of rollovers in 10-pin, but Mick's gunning it, and when he goes from top speed on the slippery surface to a sudden deceleration off it, it's all too much for Megahertz, who decides to bury his head in the sand.
He's all right. He's out. Any damage to the most important bit?
No, it's all right.
It's all right. You want to get this up the right way, don't you?
Yeah.
Do you want to hop out and we can get that on the road? Come and talk to us. You're not getting away that easy. I bet you're quite glad you spent quite a lot of money on the roll cage.
Oh, yeah. Very good.
It's designed to do this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It would be a shame not to have done
Well,
this
we
in a
wanted
way.
to show you our excellent drivetrain, you see, so you can see all our excellent
I
four-wheel
love
drive.
it from underneath. It
It's
actually
really
is
good
its
from
best
underneath, isn't
side.
We cleaned it specially.
Well done, Mick. Quite a spectacle from the Brits, but next up we've got the Icelandic team. Let's get on with it.
Okay, you have a slight advantage today. The Americans knocked down all 10 pins. The UK team knocked down 6 pins, so that gives you a little bit of room to move. Are you confident that you can do it?
I'm hoping I will knock them down 2 times, all of them.
Oh, but both times.
I give it a try.
Well, good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Start your engines and have at it.
Thor is a relative lightweight at just 1.7 tons, but a 250 brake horsepower V8 engine means it's got a good turn of speed. Independent front suspension will give an advantage on uneven surfaces, while sliced up tyre treads should make for better traction. Thor could hammer the opposition.
Sverige is used to rolling down glaciers in Iceland, just for a laugh, you know, at weekends. So something tells me he's not going to get the fear here.
Can we do better than the Brits?
Of course.
Of course.
They were just unlucky. This track is based on luck.
Do you think it's luck?
Yes.
You're covering your bases in case you don't do well.
All right, the mighty Thor is in position. Sverige is ready for his mission to Vikingly pillage and plunder a handful of bowling pins. He's got no shortage of acceleration on him. Oh, sweet. And there's a good result.
6 and a wobbler.
Thor goes into battle with guns blazing. Sverige controls it well, doesn't manage to spin it, but hits those pins with mucho gusto. Mucho enough to take out 6 and equal the Brits in just 1 run.
He can do it.
He can do it.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Can Thor go all the way and conquer the 3 remaining pins? Yes, if Sverige has anything to do with it. Ooh, it's just inches away from the Big Ten.
So close. Sverige, let me into your jail. That was a great run.
Oh, thank you.
How was it for you?
It was okay, but
You
something
missed
broke.
one.
Yeah, I missed one.
Something's broken.
Yeah, there's an iron plate.
Sverige hit one of those pins at such an angle and speed that its base plate came off, and Thor copped it full force under his chassis. It seems to have become rather intertwined with their steering linkage, and the team might have a bit of repair work to do before Game 2.
Well, congratulations, great run. Not quite the winning run, but let's have a look at the scores.
So it's the Californian Death Guild whose monkey business throws up the 3 big points. The Ice Vikings come in second with a cool 2 points, and even though it's a rollover week for the Mud Hatters, they're not going to make their fortune with the meager singleton.
Well, they've triumphed at 10-pin, but remember, Death Guild, like all our teams, had to build their machine with no idea what the games involved. Let's find out how they did it.
From the outset, the Death Guild were all about prioritising, so once they'd fired up the grill, it was time to turn the heat up on the build. And that meant ripping into their Chevy Blazer donor vehicle.
The first plan is to strip it down to frame and motor and steering wheel, basically, and build the entire thing up from there.
But 15 days in, and it was a case of too much partying and too little work. The vehicle was still in a very raw state, and what safety features had been included failed to impress the FMC scrutineer. The lack of brakes was a major worry, while the existing roll cage would simply crumple on impact.
After talking with the engineer, we have some more structural supports that we need to put in.
I know we'll finish it, but, you know, what it's like when we finish is kind of the question.
By day 30, the rebuilt monkey was just about finished, but would it make the grade?
So safety wasn't exactly a top priority when you were building this baby?
First vehicle we've ever built that's had to be safe.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What are you normally racing in then?
Usually we build vehicles that have fire on it and flamethrowers shooting out. And
nice.
So it's usually much more dangerous for the driver.
Usually get an abandoned vehicle and chop off the roof and the sides and the top and see how fast it will go.
And how fast does it normally go?
We don't know. We take out the speedometers.
There's a no-wire philosophy on this team, isn't there?
Simple as possible.
Yeah, which is interesting given your opposition today.
Yes.
Well, the Icelandic team is about on par with us.
Right.
Except they have a stereo.
And hydraulics.
Yeah, they're showing off with the stereo.
Yeah, they are showing off a bit. We went for as simple as possible. It means there's less to break. We don't have to worry about it. And even if it does break, I can fix it with the safety pins.
Excellent. Yep. Well, anyway, the Death Guild in the lead at the moment, but let's see how they cope when they're in a room full of moving mirrors.
Watch the gate.
Stop! White!
Oh, that's coming up next.
Welcome back to Full Metal Challenge, the most fun you can have in flame-proof pants.
The Death Guild are in the lead because of what they did in 10-pin.
But they might not be there for long because the Mud Hatters have got literally hundreds of gizmos up their sleeve.
And they might just come in handy in our next game. A brain-aching maze of distorted mirrors and moving walls, where mega-brainy Mud Hatter-esque doohickeys might just be what the doctor ordered.
The Mud Hatters don't believe in doing things by halves, and before they got their hands dirty, every stage of their build was planned down to the last detail. They've been lucky enough to have thousands of pounds worth of specialist parts given to them for free. The downside was that all these gadgets and gizmos needed vast amounts of electronic wiring to control them. But while that might have been a problem for other competitors, for this team it was plain sailing.
Any other team that comes along and has to try and deal with a harness that contains in the region of 2,000 wires would be frightened. But we know, because we are electrical engineers, that this is not going to be a problem for us.
3 weeks in and the Mud Hatters were beginning to regret starting the project from scratch.
Hello, it's me again. We've had a long day.
At last it was time to show off the team's new toy.
On the far side there are the controls for the fiddle brakes. We have our camera, extra wheels, bulldozer blade. We have air suspension, our TV aerial. On top we have our sound system.
I'd get out of the way if I were you, Grandma.
What is the point of it all? Is it just showing off, or is there actually any advantage that all of this is going to give you?
Oh, I think so, yeah. I mean, the traction control, you saw in that last round, we may not have knocked many Skittles down, but did we go off that line quickly?
Right, but the point of the game was to knock... I mean, I don't want to pick holes, but...
OK, well, we'll have to have a bit more electronics next year to guide him onto the Skittles.
You're sort of the brainy team, aren't you?
Yeah.
You know what they say about the brainy teams, though?
I don't know, but
Go
I'm
on,
sure
what's that?
Well, everyone always wants them to lose, don't they?
Really?
Yeah, never mind.
Not in this case.
Really?
No.
You reckon everyone's going to be rooting for you?
Yeah, everyone's going to be
that's why we
rooting for
came last in the first round, you see, to get ourselves the underdog image.
But what do we think our chances are of victory
We're
here?
still confident.
Yeah?
Yeah, we're still confident.
So the Brits trailing at the moment, but it could all turn around, and we hope it does, when we get on with our next game.
Aren't family outings a scream? You're in the middle of nowhere, you're sweating, the person next to you is holding a map upside down saying, no, go left, go right, no, go straight. What are you, stupid? What are you, deaf? Well, at least you're not going to visit the in-laws.
Our Hall of Mirrors is half an acre's worth of tortuous warren. Our 3 guinea pigs are in it together, each starting from a different point on the outside. They must enter, find their way to the centre and be first back out again.
But of course, it's not that simple, because some of these walls are constantly on the move, closing off some pathways and opening up others. So the teams will be relying on their teammates who've got an overview of the whole melee to help the poor fellas out.
And boy, are they going to need it, because they have very little room for manoeuvre in there and can't see where they need to go. From the overview, their teammates can see that the best path to the centre is this. Whether they can take it depends on what those randomly moving gates are doing.
Ice Vikings, are you ready?
Yes, yes.
Death Guild, are you ready?
Yes.
Mud Hatters, are you ready?
Yes.
Well then, let's play this game. They're off into our hellish labs.
Go straight.
The Mud Hatters are men on a mega hurtful mission.
Wait.
But the Vikings are winning the shouting prize. And for once, it's the Americans being the strong, silent types. But with that brute of a machine, it's a bit of a tight fit in there.
Come on, Gate.
There you go.
But look at this. The ultra-agile Brits have cut a super speedy path and have a clear line to the center. They're there! Already!
Yes!
Well done.
It's an amazing start by the Mud Hatters, sprinting to the centre. The Americans, even in their hefty monkey, are far behind, but they can't get in till the Brits get out. The Vikings are counting on this gate moving to yield up the centre. And there it goes! The Ice Vikings are heading through. The Brits are backing out. But the Americans scupper the Viking invasion and seize that precious land.
Go.
Monkey.
There you go.
Gonna go back.
The Americans are no sooner in than they're on their way back out again. I'm guessing that means hurry up. And the Ice Vikings have conquered the center. This is very close.
This is how you learn Icelandic when you have no time.
It's the fast course.
The Brits machine has got all sorts of clever gizmos.
Wait. Keep going.
Oh, ouch. But I don't think they've got one to go through walls.
Left hand down and forward if you can. I can't, I'm up against the thing.
Mike's been squished by a moving gate.
Do whatever you think you need to do, mate.
He's wedged, and the rules say he has to wait until the gate moves again to release him.
While the Brits wrestle with revolving doors, those nimble Vikings are hot-footing it towards escape. The Americans are trying to do the same, but the monkey has a few more size issues.
Watch the gate.
This gate's not moving. We're out of the way of that gate.
Maybe damage the gate. He only touched it.
The Brits are fed up waiting. Mike's decided to take the gate with him. That's not going to go down well with the refs.
He's told now he's come back and reversed into this gate, and damaged the gate.
Oh.
He's ruled himself out.
Oh no. The gate wasn't turning. It was, there's just nowhere we could go.
Moments ago they were in the lead. Now they're mad as hatters. You don't want to mess with an FMC ref. The rules in a maze have to prohibit driving through walls, and the Brits just pushed it too far. A bit of a bump maybe, but deliberate damage, no way. And the Brits are out of this game.
Meanwhile, it's the Icelanders' turn to get mad. The Vikings are losing it, but they're fast and they can get around anything. And they're the first out. All the Americans need to do is finish, but they're in danger of meeting the same fate as the Brits.
The gate may be stuck. What are your options?
The gate's got me pinned.
You're going to have to go right. Unless you can follow it around, you're going to have to go right.
3 points in the bag. Feeling happy. Marvellous. I don't know how long they're going to be in there, but we'll go back and check them out.
Have a cup of tea.
Have a cup of tea. You're learning.
The poor old Brits are too sick to think about tea.
Stevie, speak to me.
I can't speak to you, mate, at the minute. There's nothing to say to you.
Well, what's happened?
I don't even want to tell you at the minute.
But things are looking up for our friends across the pond.
There you go. Gate's off.
Dave manoeuvres the beast through. And the Americans taste sweet liberty. Well, it wasn't the happiest of contests, with things getting a bit murky in Mud Hatter Land. But all credit to the Vikings, who kept their heads when all those about them were losing theirs. Thor stormed home in first for 3 points. After some early monkeying around, the Death Guild finished second with 2, and the refs found some sympathy for the Brits and awarded them a point even though they didn't complete the game.
So overall, the scores look like this. It's not a pretty sight for the Mud Hatters with a paltry 2 points, and both Iceland and America lording it over them with 5 points apiece.
Those Vikings from Iceland are on the march, but let's find out more about how they put their vehicle Thor together.
Iceland's rugged volcanic terrain is an off-roader's paradise, and because the Ice Vikings were born here, they reckon they can handle just about anything.
We are pretty good in building jeeps and going to be very competitive.
Starting with the chassis of a 5.8-litre Ford Jeep and the body of an old off-road competition car, the boys got stuck in. And by the end of week 1, the engine and gearbox were hooked up and the Ice Camp were coolly confident.
Today has been a really great day. We've done much to the car, and of course we are building the winning car.
The boys were now taking full advantage of Iceland's 24-hour summer days.
We were working like crazy and we are getting pretty tired, but we will sleep 2 or 3 hours tonight.
But after a month of almost sleepless nights, Thor was finally ready to rumble.
So, Ice Vikings, after your month of hard labour, your vehicle here showed up off the ship that it came on with this strange instruction manual. Turn the switch on, turn the CD on, and go to track 9, and you'll hear a sound like when you sing into an empty bucket. Open the beer, eat the dried fish. When you finish the beer and the fish, you may open the fuel line valve and start the engine. What is the meaning of this?
Oh, it's only instructions.
Is this traditional Icelandic starting mechanism?
Yeah, they didn't eat the fish or drink the beer, and it wouldn't start. So
Iceland, it's interesting, have actually got a reputation around the world for being the ones to beat. You know, you've got quite a tough reputation. Where do you think that comes from?
We're Vikings.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
We are living in a strange place, so we are...
Is it a strange place?
Yeah, so you have to be a little strange.
All right, well, it's looking good for the Ice Vikings at this point in the game. Are we feeling confident about going all the way?
Yeah.
Yeah? Nods all round?
We came to win, so.
So you're going home with the top
Yeah.
prize. Well, they don't know what we've got in store for them next.
2 games down and 2 to go. If our contestants think it's all downhill from here, they're so right.
Thrills and spills, they're in for the ride of a lifetime.
Oh, baby.
Stay right here for roller coaster. We've seen all of our teams play a couple of games of Full Metal Challenge, and I'm not happy with their level of commitment, so I'm going to set them a little extra challenge. Finish at the bottom of the scorecard after this next game, and they can say goodbye to their vehicle inside this fiery furnace.
But which team is going to meet that humiliating fate? Well, I've got to say, it's not looking too rosy for the Brits. Check out the scores.
The brainy Brits had better put their thinking caps on because they need some genius to get themselves out of this one. They're trailing with a tragic 2 points, while Iceland and America are clinched in joint first with 5 points each. Remember when you were taking your driver's test and the instructor said at the next left I want you to get up on the tracks of a roller coaster and go around it really fast without getting either one of us killed and not breaking down in tears and crying like a little girl? Well, these guys are going to wish they had. You know why? It's time to go roller coasting. Full Metal Challenge style.
Our roller coaster is a hair-raising 500 metres of track. There are all sorts of ups and downs. A 30-degree adverse cambered bend is deliberately designed to try and make the teams fall off. And if they hit them wrong, our tipping bumps could do the same. So they'll need all their grip and agility on this, because if they do come off, they'll have 20 seconds added to their time. And that's not all.
Before they reach the finish line, they must overcome not one, but 2 50-foot teeter-totters. And this 3-way teeter that could throw them off in any direction. Fastest living time wins.
All right, are you and the mighty megahertz ready to go roller coasting?
We are.
All right, then let's start it up, please.
Time to see if those brainy Brits can work some magic.
This is up Mick's alley, though, isn't it? This is Mick's alley.
Literally, yeah.
Mick's a determined man, and he's off. The water from the shock absorbers will have temporarily blinded him, but will also have soaked his tyres, so staying on track will be even harder. And now he's approaching our notorious bend.
They'll be glad of their 4-wheel drive and super tread tires here.
That's good, because that's really hard.
Ooh, but I think that's a wheel over. It's a great time coming into the second teeter, but Megahertz is so quiet he sounds like a golf cart. But how the heck can he see where he's going? I think they must have forgotten to install the onboard inner helmet heating coils. Poor fella.
He's a bit wet now.
Yep. Just inching his way up in the Stealthmobile.
Nice one, Mick.
That's the most noise they've made on the whole run.
That comes down with a bang.
He's over the bridge.
He's making great time. Megahertz demonstrating good speed, traction, and maneuverability. The Mud Hatters could salvage some pride yet.
Oh, beautifully done.
Oh, he handles those tipping bumps like a pro. And this isn't far off an FMC course record. That's going to be hard to beat.
Back!
Stop!
Oh, but time to show off the pointless gizmos.
That was fantastic. You're completely soaked. How was that?
Pretty good.
Yeah? I have a timing for you,
Yeah.
which is 1 minute 44.03 seconds.
Yes. Oh, superb.
Yes, which I think is
Brilliant.
pretty respectable. There were 2 time penalties, 20 seconds apiece. Boo!
They're out to get us.
Which were on the adverse camber, where I think you just came off. But I mean, I still think pretty respectable run. So total time 2:24.03. Don't know if that could be bettered, but we'll find out any minute. Let's get on with the next.
All right, the Ice Vikings are the second team to take on the roller coaster. Are you ready?
Yep.
You can do it?
Yep.
I know you can. Start your engine! Now that's the sound of a proper engine.
I've forgotten good luck again. Conquistadores. I've lost it again now.
Raffin's in the Viking hot seat for his first ride in Thor.
Here he goes! That's the first one. Oh!
And he's gunning it down the straight.
But they have a long wheelbase, so the inverse bend could be a problem.
Now that bend is really tricky to stay on. But he's taking it nicely.
But that looks pretty amazing.
Great.
Ooh, but he's just lost it there. That's a penalty.
This lot are used to hill climbing, so he won't have any fear on the second heater, even 50 feet in the air. Didn't even raise his heart rate.
He's driving with guts.
Raffin will be glad of their fancy pants suspension when that three-way hits the ground.
This is a hell of a noise. He's over the bridge.
And they're ahead of the Brits coming into the final bend. Oh, but he's lost it.
Come on, you can still do it.
Back on track. And Thor thunders home.
Beautiful! Fantastic! How was that?
Great.
It was a beautiful run.
Yeah, thank you.
You came off just at one bit there. Is that the apart from that, did you feel it was a clean run?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think so.
Your time for the course was 1 minute and 31 seconds. However, there were 3 time penalties of 20 seconds each. So your total time, 2 minutes 31. So just slightly slower than the British team.
That's okay.
It's okay.
With the Brits in the lead, it all comes down to the Death Guild. See if they can make it to the final round right after this.
Welcome back to the deciding run of Roller Coaster. The Brits are in the lead, but that could all change because the Death Guild are up next.
All right, you are the last team to take on the roller coaster, and this is your one and only chance to do this. You get no second shots, so you got to hit it with all you got. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Can you do it?
Oh, yeah.
I know you can. So start your engine with that big kick-ass battery of yours.
The Brits are in the lead, so if the Americans fail to finish, they could still be home and dry. And by the sound of that thing, I think they just glimpsed the headland.
So has he got any strategy, do you think, or is it just...
Go slow, because all we have to do is finish.
That's right, so no crazy stuff.
There it goes!
Oh, he's driving! We're off! He's up! He's up!
Slows one thing, but he barely makes it up the first heater.
Don't we love that sound?
He's sliding all over the place, and that's even before he comes into our perilous bend. How will he get on with that?
Come on.
Oh, I'll rephrase that. How will he get off?
What is he doing? He's sticking.
Well, he's burning all the water off.
If he messes up here and fails to get around, it's nothing but good news for the Brits.
What could be going wrong? He seems to be giving it. It's not like he's being shy with the accelerator. What's going on? The lower wheel is getting a lot of traction, so with the differential, the top wheel is just spinning, and we only have a two-wheel drive.
That's okay, though.
But he somehow gets around and he's on to the second heater.
It's all right. That's all right. Oh, baby. Oh, baby.
And he's burning up.
That's beautiful,
Another
though.
2 feet.
That is beautiful. Look at that.
These guys normally spend months making fire displays like this one.
Yes! He's got it!
There he goes.
Come on, keep running. Keep running.
Let's see how he handles the three-way.
Gently does it! Gently
Oh,
does
baby.
it! He's sliding.
Yeah. Well, look at all the water we still got on there. Uh-oh, uh-oh.
Oh dear, looks like four-wheel drive's history for the monkey.
Come on, monkey!
And with only 2 front wheels driving, he just hasn't the power to haul that huge weight up the
He
incline.
might be losing clutch.
Oh, it's unbearable to watch.
Look at him, he's just gently doing this.
Yeah. Keep going!
He's getting up there.
He is inching forward.
He is making it forward. He is making it forward.
But he's taking half our track surface with him. Is the monkey going to make it?
He's tipping. Oh, it's just tipping.
He could come off the wrong side of this.
He has to back up to get around that corner now. Oh!
We can't even see.
You're killing me!
And the Death Guild are dangerously close to living up to their name.
Oh, we've got a wheel off. Oh, he's right up on him. Yeah, he's knocking the bumper. Yeah! We're going! Way to go, Sam!
Just stay on the course.
Yeah, he's...
Surely now they've come this far, they'll be able to finish.
Easy there, don't
Okay, we
flip
should
it.
move back now, 20 pounds.
But we've seen rollovers here before.
It's good.
Never has the home straight been so deserving of its name.
Good. Don't flip. Don't flip. Nice.
Three days later, and he's home.
Yeah!
You did an excellent job.
Very impressive.
Look at the damage that on that teeter there.
That's nice.
We can smell the burning wood over here.
We could.
Doesn't surprise me. All I could see was smoke.
Were you quite enjoying yourself, though?
Yeah, in a really weird way. So what was that, about 10 minutes?
I don't think it's going to be a winning time, but
Okay.
that doesn't matter. The time around the course, 7 minutes
Yeah!
and 33 seconds.
I beat 10 minutes.
But I've got a feeling there's a few time penalties coming.
Oh, yes!
It's totaling actually quite modest, just 3 minutes total of time penalties.
Yeah, right over 10.
But that doesn't matter, because what does matter is the scores. Let's take a look.
Even with that heroic effort, the Death Guild still come last by an almost indecent margin, but they pick up that all-important point for at least finishing. The Ice Vikings thunder through in second place for 2 points, and the Mud Hatters at last come home in first place and get the big 3 points.
Which, of course, is not enough to save their bacon, so we've invited them to a barbecue at our Chimney of Doom.
Well, before Megahertz goes, have we got any final words?
Goodbye, cruel world.
Indeed.
Can we go in with it?
Oh, no!
No, it won't die.
It'll be back.
I think he's going to be talking, actually, when he's still getting in the...
Whatever. Now's my favorite part of the show, where the vehicle is towed into the big fiery furnace, blown up, and burned beyond recognition. Yeah! Woo! Ouch. And another beautiful vehicle is totally destroyed. Cool.
So Megahertz has gone to the great scrapyard in the sky, but for our 2 finalists, the ultimate scrap is still to come.
And you don't want to miss it.
Welcome back to Full Metal Challenge, and for Death Guild and the Ice Vikings, it's time to go into battle.
The Death Guild must have been practicing down their local lanes because they were the kings of our bowling alley. But the Vikings don't like to be beaten, and they got their own back in the Hall of Mirrors. On the roller coaster, both teams lost out to the overwired Brits. But it doesn't matter now. We're wiping the slate clean and getting down and dirty in sumo.
You know what's really great about professional wrestling? What's really great about it is it's so bad. Bad hair, bad moves, bad acting, and bad scripts. Well, tonight we've got something that's really good. Psychos in hand-welded vehicles riding around in a ring, smashing into each other really hard. And the only script we're working off of has 3 words: kill, kill, and kill.
This is no ordinary sumo ring. We've got barbed wire in here, we've got grease planks, we've got tyre spikes, we've got something to disable everyone. So if one of these drivers wants to take their team to the semi-final, he's going to have to bash the opponent's entire vehicle outside the ring.
In the blue corner, Thor is a relative lightweight at just 1.7 tons with a 5-liter engine. But what he lacks in weight, he more than makes up for in agility, and he can run rings around the opposition.
In the red corner, the Monkey weighs in at nearly 2.5 tons, and its 5.7-litre V8 engine should give it a top speed of nearly 100 miles an hour, so the Great Ape could be a force to be reckoned with. So who will win today's most brutal bout, the handsome Vikingly Thor or the big ugly Monkey?
I'm in the middle of the sumo pit. I'm with Dave from the Death Guild. Dave has to knock his opponent, one of the Ice Vikings, out of the ring. Dave, are you ready? Oh yeah, he's ready.
Here we have Haldor from the Ice Vikings, and I hope he's got nerves of steel for what's ahead. Tell me your strategy.
I think he will be slower, so I'm going to try to let him catch me.
So you're going to play the mouse?
Yes.
Excellent. And are you feeling confident?
Yeah.
All right.
Each round of combat lasts for 2 minutes or until someone is incapacitated or shoved out of the ring. And that means shoving them right out of the outermost black ring.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, sumo! The Icelanders are on the run. That's not very Vikingly. But the Death Guild aren't called the Death Guild for nothing.
The Monkey's got weight and strength on his side, and they know it. But Thor has speed and maneuverability, and the Americans can't catch him.
And they're both making great efforts to avoid our pitfalls.
Keep it tight.
His strategy is to play the mouse, he said.
Yeah.
So there could be a bit of a standoff.
Stand still, more like. The Americans have stopped moving.
Come on, fellas. The idea is to smack each other's heads in. Oh, but the Americans have got a serious problem. That engine's not going anywhere.
As Big Dave went over our speed bumps, the engine cut out. They've been having problems with it all day, and that crazy run on the roller coaster won't have helped.
There's a dead engine scenario.
He's trying, but he just can't restart it.
This is a desperate situation for the Americans. And there's the first warning roar from Thor. I think there might be trouble of a Viking nature headed the Americans' way.
He's gonna ram him.
The Monkey is a sitting duck. And the Vikings never did take any prisoners, did they? He's going all the way out. And the bouncers who are so used to kicking people off their premises get a bitter taste of their own medicine.
He's heavier than you.
There he goes. Goodbye, Death Guild.
No one wants to win like this, but a Viking's got to do what a Viking's got to do. And when he sees his victim sitting there asking for trouble, Haldor is first to volunteer to give it. The fearless Icelandic fighters show why they christened their vehicle Thor, and the Americans, well, theirs was called Monkey.
Good job, guys. All right, the Death Guild from America is going home, and the Ice Vikings from Iceland are going on. All right, nice one.
We'll see you next time on Full Metal Challenge.
Yeah.
So the Ice Vikings have fought their way through to the semi-finals. And next week, 3 new teams from Dorset in England, California in the US, and Moscow in Russia will face off in more killer challenges to see who will join them there.